one of our key partners from Vaka Health Foundation, Yangama Jokwiro. He is a senior lecturer in nursing at La Trobe University. His day job is teaching students how to be nurses in regional and rural Victoria. Yangama was responsible for training the student surge workforce at the height of the COVID pandemic in Shepparton. By 2030, there is a projected shortfall of 1.4 million nurses in Africa. Yangama has developed a mobile health education app to help close this skill gap. This is so nurses in under-resourced contexts can provide the best care possible. So please put your hands together and welcome Yangama onto the stage to tell us his incredible story.
Just checking whether everything is working. Thank you very much for the warm introduction, and I really appreciate this opportunity to share our story of Vaka Health Foundation. The word Vaka in Africa means to grow, to sustain, and it's a common word that is used among the Bantu languages and the whole of Southern Africa. So when I start talking about Vaka Health Foundation, I want to start from my personal relationship with some of the things that I've experienced. So you can see 3 photos there. There are 3 photos of my close relatives who have passed away from conditions that I thought they should have been prevented. So they were all preventable. So one was from pneumonia, which could have been treated with IV antibiotics instead of oral antibiotics. Diabetes, that's my father. He should have been put on insulin instead of oral medications, and he died from uncontrolled diabetes mellitus. And that's my uncle, who should have been encouraged to be compliant with his HIV medications, and he would still be alive today. But this story is not only the story of myself. So there's a lot of these stories among our African diaspora who are here, who experience this family death in Africa. So you can see from the top 3 there, neonatal conditions, respiratory conditions, and people still passing away from diarrheal conditions. But the one that I want to really emphasize is at the top, which is neonatal death. So 46% of birth in Africa are still attended by non-midwives, by unskilled workers. And that puts the risk at mothers and infants who are born, increased infant mortality rate as well as maternal mortality rate. So I have always thought that this could actually be prevented. And we all need access to a well-trained nurse. And in Southern Africa alone, we have got about 550,000 nurses who are caring for more than 200,000 people. So as a result of that, I said, well, maybe let's do something. Let's start small. Let's start in Zimbabwe. You all have mobile phones, and you all have been to hospitals. And when you're in hospital, you don't want your doctor to be guessing stuff. You want them to look stuff. And as a nurse, it has been transformational that when I'm in hospital, I've got access to this vast information that if I'm giving you medication, I know exactly how fast I need to give it, when I need to give it, because I can look it up. But imagine it this way: someone working in Africa in a remote area would not have access to that information. All your mobile phones provide you that access, and I wanted the same. And as a result of that, we developed a low bandwidth app that can actually work offline. So that a nurse who is working out there, whenever they get connected to internet, it will update. But whenever they need to check something when they are in remote areas, they can actually have that transformational access to information that will actually help everybody care. In Zimbabwe, it was a big success. So 29,700 nurses have been using the platform for the past 3 years. And on average, it's access to drug protocols, it's access to medications, and we were even able to make sure that the nurses don't have to travel to renew their licenses. Something that we take for granted here, that we can just renew our license in Canberra but live in Melbourne and do that without traveling. So we're able to do this with that app. But more importantly, for the first time, nurses were even able to renew their basic life support and some of these critical skills in remote areas without the need to actually travel. So standardized practice have the power of the mobile phone and the information in their hand. The beauty of it is that every nurse in Africa has a mobile smartphone. It might be cheaper and coming from Asia, but it works fine, and it can be, they can have access in as much as I work here and have access to that information. So we have said, well, this has worked so well in Zimbabwe, but why not expand? Why not do it in all of Southern Africa? So we've started concentrating in the English-speaking Southern Africa, which are former British colonies, where English is the language of communication. And we are targeting 15 countries, and we've developed Vaka Health Foundation as a not-for-profit organization that actually is based in Melbourne, incubating at La Trobe University, and able to maneuver this process. So we, as a result of that, the key idea for Southern Africa now is to make sure that all the nurses that are there are standardized, the training is standardized. So we are not just targeting on access to information only. We are now targeting skills development. We are targeting in specialization, so that the whole of Southern Africa, that big footprint and that care for those many people, 200 million people that I am talking about, we have nurses who are as qualified as we have here. And that's through just a mobile phone to be able to do that and have access to the information that a nurse who is anywhere in the world will be here. Some of those nurses, if you have been in hospital, you're looked after by some African nurses. You also want them to be here, and they have received the same training and understanding that any nurse in the world has actually received. So our social footprint there, you can see from the heat map there that it's actually increasing. Although we were thinking that we are targeting Southern Africa, but once the website was launched, some of the nurses in Cameroon, Ghana, in Nigeria who speak English have joined the platform as well. And we have got, we have provided 41 scholarships, and we've had about 640 enrollments, and we are growing in that. But one of the most important things that we are proud of, and one of our sponsors, Peter, is very proud of, is the mentorship program. Because nursing, when you think of nursing, you don't normally think of my gender as a typical nurse. It's female nurses, and the majority of African nurses are also female nurses. But nursing provides a way out of poverty, a way of economic inclusion for women as well. So as a result of that, we are also providing this mentorship program and access to microfinance, grants, entrepreneurship, so that these nurses can actually grow as well. So how can you help? We are thinking that there's an opportunity there for ESG credit, philanthropic support, sponsorship of scholarships, and also what we call adopt a hospital program. So if some of you have traveled to Africa, if there's a hospital that you really care for, we can actually look after it and train it directly, and we can have that relationship with you. So next year, this is our target. We are targeting to train 40,000 nurses in 16 countries, and that actually is equivalent to $1 million, but it's $25 per nurse. If we train here nurses in Australia, just a postgraduate course costs $25,000, but $25 would make a difference to 40,000 nurses in Africa. So we are targeting those 10 hospitals, 100,000 nurses to do CPD and membership courses, and also to do postgraduate courses. We are outside, and you have access to Peter and Asha will be outside on our queue if you need to further talk to us. But more importantly, I would like really to thank Wholesale Investor for this impact, which has been said. I was here 2.5 years ago with no support, and as a result of Wholesale Investor, we have grown, and we are now having major impact, and we're now dreaming big. And I would like to thank them for the opportunity. and also the other sponsors which are listed here. Thank you very much for this opportunity.